Ahoy friends, Colonel Failure here, and welcome back to Transport Fever in a tropical style. We start in an aquatic fashion here as we majestically swoop past. Yeah, okay, you've seen the ship. And you're, right about now you're going, I don't remember him building ships. When did he build ships? I've seen them all. When was this ship's business added? And I go, no. See, this is the new reality. The new reality is I show you what we're about to build before it's been built. And then it's like some kind of time travel kind of an idea. You're going to go, well, no, I'm not sure I approve of that. I go, here's the thing. I've done this for the last 2 episodes and no one mentioned it. I showed you tram tracks at the start of the trams episode and nobody mentioned a thing. So there you go. You're just going to have to deal with it. So some ships and that is what we're building today. Spoilers. So we find ourselves riding on board the ancillary coal delivery unit. And if we glance over our shoulder, we should see... I almost had that lined up. It would be super if that was completely lined up. You might be able to just see in the distance there that the main freight train is gaining. In fact, we'll keep looking in this direction. There it comes. Smashing. As shots go, you're going to be hard pressed to find a better one. But before we crack on to the next level of expansion, I thought we'd take a quick look at what is and is not ticking the box and floating the boat of the Profitron. Yeah, you big show-off. Your face is covered in soot. I'm not entirely sure that's a healthy way to exist. Also, with what you're spewing out of your cylinders there, my face is now covered with soot as well. So that's all super. But as we roll in, you'll see that the numbers that we've got down the bottom here, if you can make them out, in the account we've got 300 grand, and our earnings for the 12-month period are currently minus 22,000, but that'll change. Go on, and when the other one lands as well, that will go up rather nicely. And there we go. So I'm 368,000 to the good for this year. Now that's going to ebb and flow as vehicles move around, of course. But we are, generally speaking, pretty positive. And if you look at all of the lines that I'm running right now, you'll see that every single one of them is profitable. Thanks D12, apart from D12, which is currently unprofitable. But it will flip back into profit in no time flat. That's positive. But what we're not doing is we're just not making enough money overall to be able to kind of float out forwards. If we look at the finance chart here, we're 6 months into the year, and overall we're down 18,000 so far. So obviously you settle up some of the big costs early on, but once that ticks up, that'll tick back in a profit again this year. I reckon we'll be on for a couple of 100,000 up. But then over on the headquarters side of things, the big depressing point is the fact that in the, I don't know how many years I've actually been running the business, we're still valued at minus 4.5 million. Now, we started at minus 5 million, so minus 4.5 million is not the end of the world. It's not good though, is it? Because it basically means that we're now at minus 4.6 million, which means effectively that I've earned 400 grand. We're worth 400 grand more than when we started. Great. Okay, good. Company score currently 0. Super. Right. So, what's going to be the thing that will drive growth? Now, the problem that I've got is that I can't actually pump much more corn up this line for the time being because, that's a massive capital injection. That would be required. We've got 38 food waiting to be picked up. The freight train, the main freight train, carries 49. So again, there's not much wiggle room there to extend it further. Things that would make a difference: bung another train doing the same line. Duplicate train 1 here, and that will have a knock-on effect all over the place. Yeah, you see, now that I've said that out loud, it's actually a really good idea. Just make a clone of the one you've already got. As much as I'd like to buy a fresh copy of the one I've already got, actually, I think the smart move is just make a clone of it and ride on that for a while, because that's our biggest earner. The alternative, of course, would be to set up a second goods outlet. But if I'm going to stick to the rule of you're only allowed to expand from what you've got already, then that becomes more challenging. I think there is an opportunity to be had from this quarry here, because shipping raw materials is actually very effective. But I don't see a Conmat's factory anywhere close. There's one over there on Arkham, but that's miles away. Is there one on the mainland anywhere within useful distance? No, there is not. So maybe that's one for a later project, perhaps. In the meantime, however, I think getting more food down here is probably... The reason I'm thinking this is because this has the potential to lead to multiple lines becoming more profitable. If I call up the lines list again, then the food transfer, that improves profitability. Food delivery, that improves profitability. The second train that runs down to, that's food transfer, you're full. We improve profitability on like another 3 lines by adding another train that is going to be as profitable as the one we're already running there. Why am I even still talking about this? Okay, right, I'm going to pause because train 1 is midway down the line. It would be more helpful if it was all the way down the line, and then we could measure things up. But because I want these to be equidistant, you see, so they'll equidist themselves over time, I'm sure. Right, let's max out. I don't want to max out, which gives us 2.5 million to play with. With this money, I need to double track as small a section as possible. All right, pay all the money back again. Paying all the money back again. Right, I shall now advance to the point where train 1 is in the far station. Right. Don't go anywhere. Well, you do. I'll edit this and then you won't need to go anywhere. Right then, I've got my vehicle selected and ready to go. The downside, though, is that it's going to cost me 2.5 million. I've got 2.6 million. This leaves me virtually no cash at all to put a passing track in. But the first train is about to arrive in the station. I think you throw caution to the wind and just do it. This is a terrible idea, but I'm doing it anyway. Right, you get to work on food production. Okay, well, you've pulled the trigger there, and that's a thing that's not... No, hold on, that doesn't look right. What's this screen line all about? What's it doing? Oh, I see, it's just not told me. It's the red line that you're looking at, it's this one. Okay, so, we're in the end times now, and this will either work or it won't. And frankly, if I don't pause again and put a passing track in now, then I am genuinely probably doomed. But this is, it's always the case in the early game, is there is always an early period where you just kind of go, no, I have completely made a mess of this. However will I escape? Right, I'll put in a relatively lengthy section in the hope that it's going to be enough. What I'm aiming for is somewhere that is pretty equidistant between the two. So I think I need to come back to maybe there. So if this sort of centralised section here should be enough. I don't want to spend too much. But I never want to spend too much, but I always end up spending too much. Let's spend 72 grand on that. And then hope that neither train has to wait. What do you mean construction's not possible? Flipping is. What's your problem? Why you got an issue with this? This is a fairly simple piece of connectivity we're doing here. Oh, I'd obviously just grabbed the wrong bit of track. Okay, right. That's 4,000. I've still got 138 left. We just need some signals, and then everything will be fine, and we'll make some cash. Or I'm hoping we make some cash. I'm pretty confident in this, actually. It has to be said. I mean, as much as I try and keep you on the edge of your collective seats there, I'm fairly certain that this is going to work out in a beneficial fashion. And if it means that we can get some replacements done on vehicles that are currently costing me an arm and a leg, then so much the better. Right, there we are. That's me spend done. I'm hoping that's enough space. I'm really hoping that I've left enough space there, because if I haven't, then, well, it's all bad, isn't it? Right, okay, you're away with a full load of 28 on board. So every time one of these arrives, it brings a further 28 corn to the party. It is a corn party, so that's an astute gift to be bringing there. Obviously, our supplemental is topping things up at that end, and I think there is a possibility we need to add like one extra car on there to keep it fully topped up, because the goal is going to be that both these trains... Oh, hold on. Here we go. We're approaching what I have declared the passing section. He arrived just a smidge early, but then the timing wasn't absolutely spot on this time around because he was coming out of a depot, whereas the other one wasn't. I don't know what I was worried about. Look at that. That's worked perfectly. The other benefit of this, of course, is that both of these should arrive within similar timing of one another. This is actually a shorter train because it's using nothing but 7s in boxcars, whereas that's rocking with 4s and 7s in a mixture. So it could be that this is actually just a faster train overall. But the two of them arriving, relatively close to one another should be a big fat cash injection every time it happens. Should be. Whether it is or not remains to be seen. Right, go on, make your drop. There we go. That's 300 grand in the pipe. Straight away. So that pushed us into profit ever so briefly, and we're now down again for the year because, spending 2 million quid on a train is not going to leave you in a massive amount of profit. Now, the knock-on effect that we may end up with is good here, because at the moment that's running with 9 of 20. That's not going to cut it, but it's on a wait till full, so it'll probably roll out with that 9 on board. But when the other one comes in, then we should get actually closer to the 20, because that then leads to the Caprica delivery service that's down there. And, maybe it works out. Also, it means that the truck-based food delivery outlet that we've got here shouldn't ever run completely dry. I mean, timing is the thing that's going to make the biggest difference, because we've still got a bit of a weight on our hands. I mean, based on the amount of time it's taking these two to kind of transfer right now, yeah, this suggests to me that it's quicker going one way than it is the other. Or maybe these 7 carrying wagons load up much slower than the 4s that we've got there. In the grand scheme of things, is that a big deal? No, maybe. The trains are different speeds though, and that's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens on the return leg. Apologies for running at high speed at the moment, but there's not an awful lot going on. Our objective is quite straightforward, is to see if this rather expensive gambit pays off in our favour. If it does, and we end up with a big backlog up here, at the moment we've got 32 waiting. He wants 49. Yeah, so that's not enough. We need to be shipping in more corn. Now, obviously, we've got another corn shipment coming in here, but it's not enough to maintain the 49 that requires every time we pick up. I mean, 32 is still going to make us a nice chunk of change, but it's not enough. Anyway, another landing. That pushes us over 600 grand. Okay, all right, yeah. How much are you carrying, though? Because that's going to hurt your profits on the way back. 34. Right, this train needs to be doing more work. Hello there, train that needs to be doing more work. Now, here's a problem, because, that's fresh. The problem that we've got here is that I can't afford to replace the train. Replacing the train is going to cost me upwards of 1.5 million. I don't have that kind of cash. But what I can do is I can take it back to the depot, sling another wagon on, and then get it back to work. Now, that will slow it down a little bit, but, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to have to do that, or just go without. Go to the depot, please. We don't want to sell you. Just go to the depot, I'll sling another wagon on, and then you can rock back out. What I'd love to do is change my mind on having this slow train on there and put something faster on it, but needs must. We'll run with what we've got. Right, in you come. Okay, so now buy vehicles. No, we want to tweak train. There we go. Now buy vehicles, and we want Pause the game. What do you think? 2 more gondolas? Yeah, all right. Yeah, add 2 more gondolas. That's going to slow it down a little bit more. Modify for 400,000. I haven't got 400,000. Well, you can't modify it then, can you? Oh, no. Yeah, oh, no is a good way to describe it. Now, if I give it a couple of seconds, are we in business or not? A train arriving about now with a big load would be very, very helpful. It's not happening. It's not happening. And the longer I leave it here, the worse off we're going to be at this end, waiting for a resupply on call. There it is. Do it. 407. Modify. Yeah, I'm building tension here, people. I hope you appreciate that. Food production supplemental. Off you go. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Get to work. All right. Okay. Well, we're probably going to run a little emptier for a minute or two, but hopefully we turn that around. Now, I tell you something else. In future drag racing, the Russian is going to have no chance against its American competitors, who are going to be doing significantly better. I should have just turned that around as soon as it cleared the points, shouldn't I? Oh well, never mind. In the universal scheme, it will all work out. Right, let's have a look at this. How are we doing? Okay, well that's looking quite promising. So the food hub transfer here is now rocking 18 of 20. So when that arrives, that will bulk it up. We've taken food production MCO was a 300,000 a year kind of service. It's now up to 580. I think it goes beyond 600 once we manage to get the right amount of corn being throughput. Adding 2 extra wagons onto the supplemental is going to beef that up. The additional goods being delivered is going to improve food deliveries to both Zion and District 12. Okay, and then we also possibly get a bump up for the CPR deliverer as well. All right, okay, well there's cause for optimism, just not right now. Right now there isn't a cause for optimism. Right now there is a cause for, I'm going to be sat here watching this go at high speed for a little while. All right, I'm going to sit here and watch this go at high speed for a little while. The date's not advancing. We'll then see what we see, won't we? Yes, we will. Well, there was a moment there where I thought I might not recover. I thought, no, that's it. It's done. You've hosed it in the 3rd, 4th episode, whichever fourth episode. But no. These rust buckets have come into their own, and we are now making some decent money. I've got 900 grand in the bank. I shouldn't have 900 grand in the bank. I should have paid down my loan a little bit more. But I've paid down 3.5 million. How long has this taken? I hear you cry. About an hour. I basically just left it running on high speed for an hour, and the upshot is I've got a bit of money now. It works. Every so often you'll have a year. I mean, once every 4, I think it is. You'll have a year where you don't make enough profit, and that's because of the timing gap between my 2 mainline shuttles here and the bonus delivery train. In terms of the throughput of goods, however, it's going great. We've now got enough in this truck stop to keep both truck delivery routes operating fully, and the little train that goes out to Caprica, more often than not, it's either completely full or very close to being full when it turns up straight away. So that's worked out pretty well. It means that I'm very rarely running anything empty. As you can see, food delivery is short at the moment, but I imagine several of these are actually close to drop off at the moment. I've got several lines that are more than capable of producing 6 figures in terms of revenue per year, so that's all working out quite nicely. I added an extra truck onto the Zion line to get rid of some backlog. Beyond that, not really touched it. No, it's kind of worked out. It's worked out pretty well. I have completed the double tracking section. I extended it a little bit further, and now they no longer have any queuing going on the double track, and that's all good. Hooray! I hear you cry. But you haven't actually accomplished anything today. No, I haven't. So I'm going to accomplish something, and I had a bit of a poke around while waiting. And what we're going to do is set up a passenger ferry between Zion and Waterdeep, because then I can unlock at least a Waterdeep, Winchesterton, Fieldville, and Hogsmeade kind of passenger interchange, and they're all good for a bit of extra food when the money is available to make that happen. As much the money, it's also the hardware that will be required to make that happen. Now, this is going to be a tricky one. I've got the cash for it to happen, but it's going to be tricky because to get these placed, you're going to have to grind the coastline down a fair amount, which is less than ideal. I don't really want to spend extra cash on coastal grindage, not right now. So I mean, a better place to put it would be here, and then encourage Zion to grow out that way. But then you get zero capture, and you're reliant on commuting any potential passengers out here. If I stick it here, might not look as good. We can earmark it for a bit of terrain manipulation later on to make it look better. But I think this is more or less where I'm settled on for the time being. So we're just going passengers because I don't know if it'll work. But there we go. I've committed to it. See, look, there's decisive action. Let's do the one the other end, which is much closer to kind of waterline. And, well, hold on. What I haven't checked is it deep enough? Yes, it is deep enough. What I haven't checked is, can you get a ship through that gully? That's kind of important. Let's have a look. Navigable waters. Yes, you can get a ship through that gully. Obviously, we would hope that they don't ground out too often, but if they do, well, at least it's a piece of high drama there. Right, okay, so we'll bang this in here. Right, we're just using small ones for the moment. We'll upgrade them to large later on. The difference being that you can only take... brace yourself, because this is entirely logical. You can only take small boats into a small harbour, whereas you can take larger boats into a larger one. Yeah, let me know if you need some time to get your head around that as a concept. But there you go, that's how that works. Right, I now need to do the other end, which is going to be a bit more expensive. My hope, of course, is that I put a line on here that you know, turns a profit. I think it probably will do. It's more a question, or it's as much a question, of how quickly it will generate a profit. This is going to hurt, isn't it? Well, you've got your brush size set to modest. So let's see. Ooh. When you're counting every 100,000, this is not the kind of number that you want to see happening. All right. You see, I think the flattening brush might be the way to go, but this is going to hurt a lot. So if we do that... There we go. Right, I can at least get a bit of road in there now. Okay, right, that's okay. I've got 3 million in the bank if I need to spend a bit more on this. Will you connect to there? There's too much slope. Oh, there's not too much slope here. There. Okay. Well, it'll do. Can I get a passenger stop in there as well? Because I'll tell you, that'll be useful. We'll have to go with a cheap one. In fact, can we get it right down the bottom? We can get it right down the bottom. Okay, yeah, do so. It's horrible and needs upgrading, but I'm trying to do this on the cheap so that we can just get it running. Right, I'll set up the route and then we'll buy the depot for it. So, Zion Branch. I think we can probably come up with a better name than that. But to Upper Waterdeep. Yes, there's which is a confusing name for it. I would imagine... well, I'd imagine. Right, so this is a passenger ferry. Oh, no, it's a ferry. Right, okay, yeah. So, well, okay, but strictly speaking, other things are ferries as well. The stuff that carries, you know, goods and things. Well, we'll work that out later on. And this is going from Zio to water. I don't want to do what, I want to do water. Or should we do WTD for water deep? Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Right, I don't even know how much a depot is. I haven't priced it up. Shipyard, that's what they call them. It could be pricey. Well, you've got lots of lovely flat land here to play with, so let's have a look and see what it fancies giving me here. Oh, it's only 50k. All right. All right, now the big question, how much is a ship going to run me? Because last thing I recall is that they weren't cheap. Right, you will take cargo, which includes passengers. Yeah, it's true, it will. You're a small, you're 450. Oh, hold on, we can afford it now. I bought one. There we go. Don't wait until the money runs down. Right, off you trot. Hey, we're sailing across the sea. Well, we're sailing across this area here, which I suppose is a sea of some description. We'll see. You going to come out and say hello to the boys and girls? Oh, I mean, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not allowed to target boys and girls, so oh dear, cut it in half. There we go. High luxury there, with Jeff Skipper stood at the back, working it. Oh, look at that. Flipping, go on, grind it around the corner. Okay, now, I suspect Waterdeep, once this bed's in, Waterdeep will start generating passengers quite quickly, because it's got, let's double check, but it should have pretty good catchment going on there. Yeah, pretty good catchment going on there. The one at Zion, on the other hand, less good, that is. Let's have a look. No, it's not horrible. It's not good, though, is it? No, it's not. So we're going to need to we'll sling in another line. Now, I'm tempted to turn the route that we've got between Zion and Megacity 1 into a secondary line there. But I don't think that, or rather, I'll stick another stop on it. But that route's working, and therefore I should leave it alone. But what we'll do instead is we'll go from Central here, and we'll just put a little ferry special, which is what we're going to call it. So this is a commuter Zion ferry special. Special. There we go. Right, I now need 28-ish thousand in order to bung a truck on that, a bus. Well, I suppose we could stick them in the back of a truck, but that seems a bit mean. Are we going to build another depot to do that, or do we build it from further afield in order to save the money? We do it from further afield to save the money, because, you know, otherwise evil and the persisting thereof is likely to something. Good. All of this is pretty promising, though, because it means that I have now got 3.5 million at my disposal. I just want to be ensuring that spending that kind of capital outlay, or making that kind of capital outlay, has a relatively quick return on the investment. These trains, as effective as they are at making a couple of quid, they aren't a great return on investment generator. They will make you money back over an extended period, but you will have to wait for them to make the money back. Remember, if you're paying 2.2 million for a train, the first thing you've got to do is pay back the 2.2 million. And that doesn't matter whether it's coming from your back pocket or whether that's coming from the bank manager. You still have to kick about and get it paid back. So the quicker you pay it back, the more profitable you will be. Right, let's buy ourselves a passenger something. I think people are going to want to travel in luxury, so we'll give them the stagecoach, and we'll have one or two. Let's go with one, and then if it starts running full, we'll add a second one onto that line. But yeah, I mean, let's just not get carried away for now. We've already got passenger waiting. Look, and we haven't even hooked it up yet. 4 passengers waiting, in fact. So yeah, this has got potential. What we want to know, though, is how much is this boat going to make us? Because it's not quick. But if it generates, I don't know, let's say it's running full, which is how many passengers on that? 70. Okay, it's going to take a while to get to 70 passengers. But if it looks like it's making a fair amount of money from each crossing, then adding a second boat onto there is no big deal. There's a little school of fish, look. Or a shoal of fish. It's shoaling around like you wouldn't believe. I've got the turbos on, which is why this thing is shifting. But I don't know. How many more people we got there now? 5. Well, steady on. And 1 person at the bus stop. You lazy goit. You could have walked that. Still, you know, I won't knock someone who wants to pay me some money to ride on a fail buzz. That's not something that I'm going to complain too readily about. But there you go. These docks are really quite lovely. Zion branch. Oh, hold on. No, still 5. Well, 5 is better than 0. I'm going to rename this. Zion cruises. Oh yeah. Oh, that's evocative. Yeah, I'm evoking. I don't know about you, but that evokes the heck out of me. Right now then, as my little, there he is. Are you there? He's got 3 or 4 on board. Now I'm hoping that they all want to go and ride on a Zion cruise. This really is a horrible bit of area here. There's going to be some bulldozage once I start throwing money away on luxury items. This is going to be one of the first to, because we've got a bit of a dangling bus stop going on there, which just says stop. Yeah, as well you should. Let's call this ferry terminal. Yeah, there you go. See, having some kind of semi-efficient name is not a bad thing. How are we doing for people? So far, 3. I'd hope for more, but you never know. Right, how many people want to leave Waterdeep? Ooh, this looks promising. 13. Come on, that's the stuff. I'm hoping that this ferry is going to be profitable with fewer than 50% capacity. I mean, it's going to kind of need to be that in order to operate effectively. Anyway, that'll do for today. Should we just wait and see how much this makes with 5 people on board? All right, okay. I'm feeling that way inclined. But let us not forget that there is a running cost associated with these harbours. That is, what did we do last year? It's 50k last year, but I only built them last year. So this needs to make not only its own maintenance back again, but it also needs to cover the running costs of both those ports. So you need to get up to the point where you've got enough vehicles, ships, I should say, running, that you're doing a lot of offset. Otherwise, you are basically just throwing money away. I know, it's okay, but if I can get 70 people at a time to be waiting here, then adding an extra ship will give me double the chances to make that happen. Loving the use of the port thrusters there. Nice. Come on, talk to me. Show me a good number. That wasn't a good number, really, was it? Still, we've got 16 on board going back again, and we made, are you going to tell me? 10 grand. Okay, well, running cost for all this shebang is about 130k. All right, so don't hang around. Shake a leg, please. Let's get a nice outward view here. There we go. This is a nice outward view. Can I? If we sit on there, no, you don't have quite. Oh, maybe you do. Yeah, that'll probably do it. I've been Colonel Failure. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back soon with more, because more is what there is, and I intend to provide it. Subscribe to ensure you don't miss out on that. Remember, subscribing is free. Yes, it costs you absolutely nothing to subscribe. If you do fancy paying money as part of your subscription, or it's done and wiggle through the sandbanks there, I can efficient that up a little bit, I think, with a bit of destruction. Yeah, most things can be done with a bit of destruction. What was I saying? Oh yeah, if you want to, hit the join button and become a member of Fail Brigade, where you can get involved in games and hang out on the Discord, and well, there's loads of things that go on. Get bonus videos and things as well. It's amazing. Right, that'll do you. I'll catch you next time. Cheerio. Now, see, because I'm all clairvoyant and what have you, I don't even need to wait for you to make comments. I know what they're going to be already. They're going to be, oh, I don't like that we see what you're going to build before you've built it. That's no good, that is. I gotta go, well, live with it, because I'm going to do it for a bit and we'll see what happens. I've got like view count minute things and numbers with graphs and stuff that I can look at. And if it turns out that by sticking some kind of ooh, at the start of each episode, that you watch more of it, then I'm going to keep doing it. Now, this is, see, if you're listening to this, you've already listened to the end, and therefore mission accomplished. And in the future, you're just going to have to go, no, I must resist. I must not watch the whole episode. Well, I don't think you can resist, you see, because you've made it this far, which means you actually like this bit, or either that, or you vaguely tolerate this bit, or you forget how to use the mouse for a couple of minutes, or you've gone to the loo. Any of these things could have happened. Regardless, it is the new reality, and for the time being, I'm going to do you some kind of glamoury opening shot. Opening shot. Obviously, the bit that I sit in isn't big enough for you to see me jazz hands there, but I did jazz hands twice, 3 times now. That's a lot of jazz for one set of hands.